The machete-wielding New York City professor who threatened a reporter after he confronted her over her profanity-laced tirade against pro-life students. She got really violent. There she is right there with the long hair. These kids are just there setting up their pamphlets. They're pro-life, and she was clearly triggered and gets violent. Well, she turned herself in to police yesterday. Shalene Rodriguez. She was slapped with harassment and menacing charges. That's all she got. She was released on her own recognizance, and that's her on the left right there. That's a Post reporter in that white short sleeve shirt. He came there and she put a machete, a large knife to his neck, and then even chased him outside onto the street. And his photographer, I mean, wielding the weapon wildly, and a judge just basically let her go. And this woman, this professor, she worked for a city school here in New York City College. She's a proud police hater. She organized a string of anti-cop protests in 2020, which led to mass arrests. According to the Post, she's been trying to sue the NYPD. She claims they abused her during the 2020 Summer of Love riots, you know, George Floyd, claiming she suffered nerve damage from being zip-tied too tightly. And then on Tuesday, she was fired from her position, finally, at Hunter College. But again, this woman is just she's allowed to roam free. You know, a judge just let her out and she walked around with a big knife. Dr. Savage, what do you think about that?
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what universities have become as a result of, what's the word? DEI or something? Equity?
Yeah, diversity.
It's affirmative action.
Yeah, nonsense.
This is diversity and equity at work. This is what affirmative action has wrought. So you take losers like her who have no qualifications whatsoever, you throw out the heterosexual Christian white males, and you make the place safe, a safe place for the lunatics and the haters. So this is what you have. This is nothing new to me. I knew this was going to happen. And the fact is, it's going to get worse until it gets better, until we all stand up to them. And we have to stand up to them. And we are standing up to them. You're running a show. You're showing their pictures. Everyone knows what kind of person this is. And I have no other words to say about this other than she is not a full human being. This is a domestic terrorist, is what it is. And the universities are now crawling with domestic terrorists under the guise of, what shall we call them, safe place people? How do you put it? But, you know, I know you want to talk about the other stuff, Lydia. I know where you're going to go, so I'm going to let you go, and I'll follow.
Brittany Griner. She's back in her first game since she was brought back from Russia. Thank God for America, right? And for the first time since 2020, lo and behold, Michael Savage, she actually stood up for the national anthem. Take a listen. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wait. I want you before I get your.
Okay.
Take a listen to what her coach told the press after the game.
I mean, it was great, but like honestly, come on, LA. Like we didn't sell out the arena for BG. Like I expected more, you know, to be honest, right? Like it was great, it was loud, but how was it not a sellout?
Whatever. I mean, and the fact that Griner, she said, well, you know, now she's all of a sudden standing. I mean, she should have been standing all along.
Well, she found out what a totalitarian nation really is, being locked up in Russia. She could have lost her entire freedom for the rest of her life if the great America, Satan, that she hates so much, had not intervened to get her out of Russia. So she came to her senses, and she realizes what a great country we live in and what freedoms we really have. That's one thing, but there's much more to the story, I think, than meets the eye. I mean, there's probably stuff under the surface that we don't know about. I'm sure that the people who were behind her before when she was taking a knee hate her right now. And I'm sure that they're going to not use tucking clothing with her as a model.
I don't think she has anything to tuck.
Well, you never can tell in this day and age.
Oh, my God.
But, you know, look, let's be clear, Lydia. I've got to repeat something. I'm a sexual libertarian. I've said this for 15 years on the radio. I don't care what people do behind closed doors. I never did. I know the world. I know what's going on in the world from ancient times until now. And I also know what's right and what's wrong, what's up and what's down, what's straight and what's twisted. The fact of the matter is there's a distinction in the Bible and in every culture on earth between the sacred and profane. I was just reading some religious books because yesterday was a big holiday for religious Jews, and it says You, God, have made a distinction between sacred and profane, between light and darkness. Everybody knows that there's sacred and there's profane. And the children are in a category of protection. We're supposed to protect our children from those trying to hurt them mentally, spiritually, or physically. All the years that the left screamed about the most vulnerable populations, whatever happened to them now that the most vulnerable population, meaning the young, the children, are being mentally attacked by the LGBTQI, whatever they call themselves, with crazy stuff that belongs in a porno store in New York in the 1960s in the toilet. It doesn't belong in our schools. And it's time we stood up to them. And so many other stories related to this. Lydia, if I can go into them, I pulled them for you. I don't know if you have time. Did you see the one about the former Biden official, Sam Brinton, who stole the suitcases?
Yeah.
Did you see what came out? Gender fluid former Biden official Sam Brinton led anti-Catholic Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence group in Washington, D.C. So you say, how could Biden have taken a freak show like this and put this freak show nutcase in charge of our disposal of our nuclear waste products? I don't know, maybe he knows about waste products. He became an expert on all waste products. But I think you have to have a degree in physics or something to know how to deal with nuclear waste. But so the gender fluid guy who's stealing...
They're putting him in a male jail, by the way. They put him in a male jail.
I want to know, he's being jailed next week after facing grand larceny. How is he going to survive the jail?
I don't know. He's going to be somebody's girlfriend. I have no idea. But he's going, even though he says he's gender fluid and non-binary, they're putting him in a guy's jail. So I'm sure that'll be a whole other lawsuit.
Well, but Lydia, come on. They put him in protective custody. You know that. Yeah. He's not going to be bothered. The point is he's a militant psychotic who attacked Catholics. You know, the Sisters of, what do they call them? Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. I live in San Francisco. I watched them for years. This is a domestic hate group. Right. This is not pleasant.
So then why are they invited to the Dodgers game? Why would the LA Dodgers invite them? That is the most despicable thing. How are people not disgusted by this? All of the whole MLB, the Major League Baseball should condemn this.
Lydia, listen. How could you invite an anti-Catholic hate group like this to a baseball game and give them an award? An award for what? For being disgusting and vile? The fact of the matter is, this is sickening, and people should not go to the LA Dodgers anymore. Who goes to ball games? Families generally go to ball games. So there is a good place to give an award to a psychotic like this. An award for what? For being what? A psycho? A sicko? Known for members who attend left-wing protests dressed in mock nun outfits, etc. I wonder why the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence don't go to mosques and ridicule Islam or Muhammad. Can you figure that one out, Lydia?
I know, I wonder. And you see the videos on Twitter. We're not going to play them for you guys because they're too disturbing, but these people are dressed up as nuns, and yet they've also got this BDSM, outfits on, and they're twirling on stripper poles. And this is what they want to bring into an LA Dodgers game. Michael Savage, unfortunately, we're running out of time, a minute left. Why are they so obsessed with going after our kids? Why not just leave the families alone? You want to be a freak? Do it behind closed doors.
Well, you put it very well, but never forget who the chairman of Biden's reelection campaign is. The militant Hollywood mogul gay Jeffrey Katzenberg is the chairman of Biden's presidential election committee. People don't understand that the militant gays are actually running Biden's entire, what should we call it? The whole show.
Yeah, sure.
Did you know that I could go on, but did you know that a few weeks ago they said all you have to do is declare that you're LGBTQ and you can come over the border? You're running from oppression.
Oh, my God.
They made that an issue.
I know.
So they're inviting people from these countries to say, yeah, I'm gay, or I'm this, I'm that. So come on in. That's what we need, is more people of perpetual indulgence in America. That's what we need in America. Not Einstein, not Fermi, but we need a freak shows like this.
Michael Savage, Dr. Savage, thank you so much for being on with us. And hopefully some people out there listening to your common sense and your book there. Talk about your book, Savage Nation. You can get it anywhere. Thank you so much.